Hello my space explorers. Enjoy this story. Title: How do I confront my husband about missing condoms? I, 40F, have been married to my husband, 44M, for 20 years, and we've been together for 25 years since high school. Recently, he left on a trip with our eldest daughter, 21, to his home country, while I stayed home due to work and school obligations. They are due to come home in a few days, but my daughter flies back 2 days before her dad. The night before he left, I had a strange feeling and decided to check my husband's toiletry bag to see if he packed any condoms. He didn't. Then I checked our stash, and there were exactly 10, just as I last checked a while back. The next day, I left for work while he was still packing. When I came back, he was done, and I took both of them to the airport. Yesterday, I felt the urge to check the condom stash again, and to my surprise, there were only 5 left. My first thought was to confront him over the phone, and I almost did, but my daughter and his aunt were nearby when I called, so I hung up instead. He sensed something was wrong because I mentioned wanting to ask him something and asked him to call me when he was alone. He didn't call back at all, not even to say goodnight. He didn't call me until the next evening, and even then, other people were around. We only use condoms when I have issues with my birth control, which hasn't been consistent for a few years, so I assumed the stash was old and hadn't been replenished. Now, I'm wondering if he's been replenishing it with new ones. If he's prepared like this, it seems he might be intending to cheat on me. Throughout all our years together, he has never been caught being unfaithful, although I had my doubts many years ago. I have always been faithful to him. Now, I'm torn about how to confront him without him hanging up on me or gaslighting me. I want to see his facial expression on FaceTime. Should I confront him now to possibly prevent him from cheating, especially during the 2 days when my daughter is back home and he's still away? Or should I wait until he gets home? The damage might already be done. How should I confront my husband about this? Update. After some advice, I decided to confront my husband in person when he got home. During a FaceTime conversation, he asked why I didn't seem like I missed him. I hinted that I was upset because something was missing from the house, but he shrugged it off and said, "There you go," as if I was starting something. We ended the call without discussing it further. When he came home, I acted normal at first, then I confronted him when the time was right. I asked why there were condoms missing from his stash. He pretended not to know what I was talking about and gaslit me for an hour and a half. I went through all his bags, which he hadn't unpacked, and found nothing. Normally, he doesn't let me go through his stuff, so it was strange that he allowed me to check everything. He had this weird smirk on his face that he tried to hide and kept persisting, trying to hug me. Then he turned it on me, saying I always start things, that I didn't miss him but he missed me, and so on. I didn't want anything to do with his touch and forced hugs. He told me to drop it and said he didn't want to talk about it. I told him he just wanted me to sweep it under the rug, like how he's gotten away with things I've confronted him about in the past without full proof. I told him I wasn't a child anymore. Then he said he knew what was going on, and I said I needed to hear the truth from him. Finally, I convinced him that honesty was the only way to resolve this. With a joking tone and smirk, he asked if I would drop it and hug him if he told me the truth. I reiterated that honesty was the only way to move past this. He finally admitted that he took the condoms with him. He tried to give a lame excuse that his bags are always packed with them. I shut that down, pointing out they came from his stash in another bag left at home. Then he said it was instinctive. I called him out and asked where they were now. He claimed he threw them out at the hotel because he panicked after I hinted on the phone that I was upset about something missing from home. He said he didn't want to get caught with them, so he trashed them. I accused him of using them. He asked when he would have had the time. I asked when he thought he would have time, pointing out that he could have just bought condoms there. He then said they were old, and we didn't need them because we don't use them. I suggested they probably weren't as old as he claimed and that he replenished them because why would he use old condoms with a random stranger? I opened one in front of him, and it felt fresh and lubricated. I wonder how long he has been doing this. Now that I think about it, there were 10 condoms before he left, but a while back, when I checked before he traveled out of state without me, I think there were 12. I had written that number on the back of a mirror I no longer have. The number 10 I wrote in a notebook so I wouldn't forget and couldn't be gaslit. I want to leave but don't want to go to family. I'm considering a hotel, but I need to wait until he leaves the house first. I want to be strong and let him know this is not a joke to me. I don't support infidelity. I also don't want the kids to know what's going on right now. Trust has obviously been gone for a while. Can I ever gain that back?